As a gaming creator, just stay on the lookout for new games. And
Hmm.
obviously, if you are an FPS player, like look for a new shooter that's coming out by a big
Yeah.
company and just try and get on there early. It's really
Hmm.
easy if you're great at a new game to earn a following when it just comes out, because everyone's looking, no one's solidified.
Yeah.
And you never know if you get into the match with a pro player and make your big play.
Insights and user experience are the most important thing, and if no one was doing that in the video for the video games, that uh, then for sure POGR is doing something which is gonna be very valuable, and it has values in other directions as well. Like in the coming years, we both know that the game is going to be on the basis of data. Whoever
Yep.
has the data, he is going to be the king. So you are going to be the kingmaker in the gaming industry in the future, right?
First stage of game development, it'll set up the skeleton for you. It'll allow you to save time and
Right.
make you guys start from
Mhm.
ground one with the game already kind of set up, and then you're just filling and
Mhm.
coloring in the spaces. The next thing
Right.
that I see, that I had no involvement in, but I'm very excited to see it, is AI companions while you're playing video games. How
Yes,
many
yes,
times have
yes,
you
yes.
said, "Oh my god, if I could play with myself, I would beat this level," or whatever? I've said it many
Mhm.
times playing games.
I think that one problem with the techies, with the game developers, is that they live in their own bubble. They
True.
think
Yeah.
with their own mindset. So that is the point where they lose empathy. That is the point where they lose what their customer needs. So I think that what POGR is doing, it's gonna be an eye opener for the game developers. Hello, everyone. My name is Ali. I'm the CEO of Al-Burraq Technologies. Today, we have another tech star with us, and he has very good experience in the gaming industry. How are you, Connor Ellison?
Hi. Great to be on. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for joining, and I really appreciate your time. Today, we are going to learn a lot about the gaming and about the game makers as well, because you are helping both of them. But before that, I would love if you can introduce yourself so that our audience can connect with you.
Sure. My name is Connor Ellison. I'm CEO and founder of a startup called POGR. It means play of game rating. It's also us taking a very well known term, POGRs in the gaming space, and making it our own. I've been building this for a little over 3 years. We
Mhm.
have a small team, but it's been growing. We've raised some money, but essentially, we are building the profile system for the future of gaming. I know that's a
Okay.
big,
Okay.
big question, but I'll answer that. So,
Right. 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 And you're helping both gamers and the game makers, right?
yeah, correct.
So I know that, but tell us more about that to our audience so that they can see that what POGR is doing.
So yeah, POGR, with developers, we are building essentially the platform for gamers. And what this
Okay.
is we've built an SDK which
Mhm.
can be dragged and dropped into different game engines. We have them for Unity, Unreal, and Godot
Right.
right now. And
Right.
it's much different than what's currently available in the space because we
Mhm.
aren't limited in what event we're able to capture. We're able to define, aggregate, and correlate essentially all information that's incoming from a game engine. And this is extremely useful because we also have a consumer side. So with the
Mhm. Mhm.
developers, obviously they're able to oversee and overview everything that's going into their game. But their community has a question mark attached to them. Some developers, especially the bigger and larger publishers, are a little bit more fortunate in the fact that they're able to understand their community because they've spent more time in their game ecosystem. And let's just,
Yeah.
for time's sake, say that they have collected data. A majority haven't, but
Mhm.
let's just say
Mhm.
they have. What we're introducing is the ability for them to understand all of the gamers beyond just the
Mhm.
information that's coming into their game. It's a shared
Mhm.
profile
Mhm.
system
Right.
that allows for all of these gamers to once that connect with POGR, but also have all of their information from all of the games that they're playing be aggregated into this single profile. This benefits
Right.
the gamer in a plethora of ways, but for the developer, it's extremely valuable because when you're building and
Hmm.
pushing out a game, you're no longer using or having information work against you. You're able to,
Yeah.
let's say, you're launching a game, you've done the community wait list, you're ready to launch, and you have 20,000 players, and you notice
Hmm. Hmm.
60,000 of them have previously purchased a battle pass, 20% have previously purchased a DLC, 50% of them like this type of game. So you're really
Hmm.
able to understand and start building in a proactive way when the industry is used to more reactive. You build something, the community reacts, and then you
Right.
decide whether what you're going to do versus having an understanding of your community, especially as this entire industry is changing in front of us. I think last
Hmm.
year there was 14,000 new studios that put out a game on Steam alone.
Right.
A, just to summarize, no one in this space besides a couple companies, but even those couple companies are limited in what they're able to do data wise for these gaming studios. Uh, but more or less, no one's collecting any video game data. You know, look at Power World,
Hmm.
for
Hmm.
example, one of the biggest games in the world right now. They're still struggling to have anyone be able to connect and utilize that data. That's 25 million players' data for 6 months that's just down the drain and you can never recreate. So it's a definitely a more important thing, especially as the rise of indie developers come. But then on the flip side, so I've worked at FaZe Clan. I've worked with players for a long time, and on the player side, gamers really aren't allowed opportunities based off of their history, their traction. It really focuses on clout, connections, and content,
Right.
which I
Right.
don't really feel does the gaming industry justice, as a lot of, in my opinion, the top players may not have those similar uh, uh, let's say characteristics, but at the same time, they're still very great. And I think that people should be able to have that pride when they are good at something, as well as earn
Hmm.
opportunities based off of their skill sets and not be kind of pigeonholed since let's say
That
they
makes
aren't great at
sense.
making content. Yeah.
Hmm. Hmm. That makes sense because uh, insights and user experience are the most important thing. And if no one was doing that in the video for the video games, that uh, then for sure POGR is doing something which is gonna be very valuable, and it has values in other directions as well. Like in the coming years, we both know that the game is going to be on the basis of data. Whoever
Yep.
has the data, he is going to be the king. So you are going to be the kingmaker in the gaming industry in the future, right? Because
Honestly, that doesn't sound too bad. Yeah.
yeah, because the thing is, what works in the gaming industry, right? You
Yeah.
know all those ingredients, and whoever is gonna have your consultancy before developing a game, they're gonna make it, and you're gonna take it,
Yeah, yeah.
everything from them.
We really just want to help this space. So my
Hmm.
co-founders, Randolph specifically, has been a game
Yeah.
developer 20 years, and I was trying to be a great player. Our other
Hmm.
third co-founder, Juno, he's been
Right.
gaming for a long time. We all have this shared
Right.
kind of like want to make this a
Vision.
better
Yeah.
space,
Yeah. Yeah.
and just encourage uh, new people to take chances. Game
Hmm.
developers make new games. Gamers to not feel like, hey, like if I spend time doing this and I'm great at it, I'm missing out on college. You know, like
Yeah.
in the future, we
Yeah.
hope to help
And
with esports organizations for that.
yeah, and I think that one problem with the techies, with the game developers, is that they live in their own bubble. They
True.
think
Yeah.
with their own mindset. So that is the point where they lose empathy. That is the point where they lose what their customer needs. So I think that the POGR, what POGR is doing, it's gonna be an eye opener for the game developers who are at the small scale. And you were right, for the large scale companies, they do have the empathy department, they do have the user experience department in which they are doing all the research. So for the newbies, you're gonna be great.
Yeah, even for the game developers, though, the image I
Yeah.
like to put in front of everyone's mind
Mm, mm,
is if you're analyzing 40% of the pie, is that really
mm.
what you want to bet the house on? And not
Yeah.
usually, that's not a great statistic, but any gamer except for like let's say a handful who just play one game because they're so good at it, it's like they're
Mm.
spending time, they're playing 20% of this
Yeah.
game, 40% of this game. They play with their friends, they do this. So when these larger companies are making long-term, large financial decisions without
Right.
understanding the full, let's say,
Mm,
360 scope of a player,
mm.
um, it also warrants a conversation. But yeah,
Yeah.
for the time being, the new studios, we want to help you
Mm.
because
Yeah.
we need to build to that point to being very valuable to the large studio. But we see both. We
Right.
see a new world in the gaming space, one that's built around understanding and transparency. So.
Right, right. Connor, if I ask you that, what are the top three mistakes game studios or the new game developers are doing while making the games, how would you tell us about?
Sure. I'd like to first say that it's a tough environment, so I wouldn't
Hmm.
really categorize them as mistakes. But
Okay.
let's just say that they are spending money to acquire users that aren't
Hmm.
guaranteed to like really like their game. Obviously, that's a an issue that everyone deals with, and there's no real solution for it. Right. Another one is that they aren't hiring enough, I would say, artists or actually, can we scrap this question? I don't know. Like, I don't know if any of them I don't know if I have three mistakes. Like I've talked with a lot of game studios. Like I probably
Hmm.
talked to like 200. I don't really know if like a lot of them are making mistakes. Like they're like working with no money and they're like trying to figure it out. I honestly I have nothing but respect for them and I don't really like see mistakes. Like it's just like
So much
sometimes
empathy
making
you
the
have for them. So much empathy.
yeah.
You're trying to cover that. You're trying
I
to
mean,
cover
I
that.
it's really honest to God the truth. Like they uh they really the only time they're making mistakes is when they make the wrong decision, but like
Hmm.
everyone makes the wrong decision when you're developing this
Yeah.
idea.
Hmm. Hmm.
Obviously you could hire the wrong team member. We talked to a studio that
Right, right, right.
accidentally paid
That makes
a well,
sense. That
yeah,
makes.
yeah, they paid a level designer upwards about 35 grand, and they realized by the time that the game was being launched for alpha that he had been making mistakes through the entire thing, and it rendered the
Right.
game unplayable. And they had to push back the launch and
Hmm. Hmm.
try and
Hmm.
find a way to rebuild it with no
Okay.
budget. So it's like like those are the things that I see that are mistakes in my mind.
Mhm, mhm.
I've made mistakes. So it's I can
Everybody
really
does, and I think
yeah
we we are in the journey, in the entrepreneurial journey, and I think doing a mistake is not a bad thing.
agreed
So,
yeah
so that is why I do not use any soft word like you, right? I say that's fine. If you're
yeah.
if you're gonna commit some mistake, you're gonna learn from it. So that is the most important thing, that you do something, you do some wrong thing, and you learn out of it. If you're
Yep.
not learning, if you're not doing any pivot or something like that, then
Yeah.
that is the blunder that that a founder or a co-founder or an entrepreneur should not do. That if they are in the business of if they are if they are a true business person, or if
Yeah.
they are true entrepreneurs, they should commit something mistake or whatever bad thing, but result should be that there should be some learning. And sometimes you do a mistake and that clicks, so you
Yeah.
get some reward out of it as well.
Yeah. I
So
agreed.
that also happens.
But yeah, I'm sorry on that one. Hopefully, there's a different question that I can answer better for a short.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Okay. So, what are the opportunities right now in the market for the gamers? How would you answer that question?
Right now in the market, there
From
it
where they can earn money, from there they can develop their careers or something like that.
yeah.
Very briefly, you have to answer this: that what are the available opportunities right now for the gamers?
Sure. I'm actually quite well versed in this space. But I,
Mm,
I really think it's a tough place right now. So I would say
mm,
Discord, Twitter communities, that is the bread and butter for an up and coming
Mm,
gamer. That's where you
mm,
can really
mm.
build a following of people who
Right.
respect leaderboard statistics. Even though we're
Mm,
eventually going to be competing with this company, Tracker Network, Tracker.gg, a lot of admiration for what they've built over the last 10 years with their
right.
leaderboard system and their profiles. Hopefully you guys understand when we build our
Mm,
platform
mm.
that
Yeah.
it's all out of respect. But those are kind of some of the good opportunities where it's like, all right, you're able to make money in these tournaments, and you get into these tournaments by having played the game and earned a high enough ranking.
Yeah. Yeah.
Obviously, really focusing on creating content across the social media like platforms. That's
Right.
been like the
Right.
proven method. I've done this with
Mm,
multiple social accounts. I've seen other gamers do it too. Twitter, YouTube Shorts, TikTok, Instagram Reels, pretty easy. You can reskin the content for each platform and make sure that
right.
you can reach a large audience and play each of the algorithms
Mm,
individually.
mm,
Um,
mm.
Other than that, it's as a gaming creator, just stay on the lookout for new games. And
Mm.
obviously, if you are an FPS player, like look for a new shooter that's coming out by a big
Yeah.
company and just try and get on there early. It's really
Mm.
easy if you're great at a new game to earn a following when it just comes out, because everyone's looking, no one's solidified.
Yeah.
And you never know if you get into the match with a pro player and make your big play. I still
Mm.
remember back in this day, I was playing custom scrims on Fortnite, and I was streaming, just out of college in my bedroom, and I killed
Mm.
Tifu.
Mm.
And when
Okay.
Tifu was streaming to 35,000 people, and I killed him
Okay.
in this competitive scrim, and I gained about 250 followers, and I had about 1,000 live viewers, like for the next
Oh,
5 minutes.
nice.
Yeah, so it was really cool. So
Nice.
you never know when like these opportunities strike. So putting yourself in those great
Mm.
situations is great. I'm not saying go and focus on killing other big streamers on while they're on stream. That's
But they
my
can, they can opt that route as well.
yeah. It's like if you want to be that villain, there's that opportunity.
Mm.
Mine was a
Yeah.
genuine action. But
Mm. Mm.
however you can. But yeah, all of this just like really goes to show what we're building, because I faced
Mm.
all of these
Mm.
issues and I struggled with them, because even though it's like, hey, put out
Right.
content, stream, like
Mm.
how does that help you right now? How does that really get your name out there with a community or anything like that? So
Yeah.
um yeah, I really hope to see a lot more happen in that space. Like the big jump start was that you can, for all the you younger kids, there's about 200
Mm.
schools now giving scholarships for playing video games at college,
Yeah. Yeah.
and that's growing every year. I think there was 75 new
Mm.
colleges that did this in the past year. Cornell's one of them. That's an Ivy League school.
Mm. Mm.
So uh, just stay up to date with what's happening. Active in communities. I would say Twitter's very important. You need to be streaming your content as well. Even if
Mm.
you don't get
Mm.
views, you need
Mm.
to repurpose it out into content.
Yeah.
And,
Mm.
and just stream like you're streaming to 1,000 people, even 100 people. Be
Yeah.
genuine. Don't be silent.
Yeah, that makes sense. That has summarized many things for the gamers, and I thank you for that. One more thing I would like to ask you is, in the past few years, AI has an important impact in the gaming industry. So,
Yep.
how do you see that, and how do you see the future use of AI in the gaming?
I saw this firsthand with my co-founder right when ChatGPT went live. So he deconstructed, and I'm not exactly sure what he did, but from my understanding, he was able to build about 80 to 90% of the game infrastructure through AI, using ChatGPT and OpenAI to make the like I said, the infrastructure of a Godot engine MMO game. I saw it, and then he used the remainder of his time to make sure that things were connected, there weren't bugs, and to obviously make the art and the assets and the actual content within the game. So I feel like for the first stage of game development, it'll set up the skeleton for you. It'll allow you to um, save time and
Right.
make you guys start from
Mm,
ground one with the game already kind of set up, and then you're just filling and
mm,
coloring in the spaces. The next thing
right.
that I see, that I had no involvement in, but I'm very excited to see it, is AI companions while you're playing video games. How many how
Yes.
many
Yes.
times have
Yes.
you
Yes.
said, "Oh my god, if I could play with myself, I would beat this level," or whatever?
Mm,
I've said it
mm,
many
mm.
times playing games,
Yeah.
but it might be there soon. I saw one company that I follow on Twitter. They're doing this specifically for Minecraft and Roblox, where you can join a
Right. Right.
server and you can have these AI companions play with you and interact. They'll type. They'll be active. So I think that that is
Mm,
a
mm,
huge opening for that. So yeah, helping
mm.
build the skeletons for game development so that they can spend more
Yeah.
time and their limited resources on providing content for you and the user. And then for gaming, it's going to be having little AI buddies play with you.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, and that clears the future as well. Uh, in the last, I would like you to give some closing remarks on this gaming industry, how things are going to be, and the vision of POGR. That is the most important thing. That where do you see POGR in the future? So I want you to close at that point.
Sure, thank you. Well, firstly, it's been a pleasure. And with POGR, I built this with a lot of these things that I've mentioned. They all funnel into this
Hmm.
idea of a transparent, more well understood industry. Right
Right.
now, there's hackers galore. It's because there's
Hmm. Hmm.
no like two factor into who you are as a person. If you want to go play
Yeah.
rank and you get banned, you can just go buy another account with a different like let's just say
Yeah.
random characters, and then you're back in the game. You're not playing it to
Hmm.
build an
Hmm.
ID. You're playing it for to cheat and go through. But people still do that, or
Hmm.
to
Hmm.
help other people get to higher levels, by be like there's a lot of these services. So by having a profile that is connected to who you are as a gamer, let's say your statistical fingerprint, you know,
Hmm.
um, it will allow for a lot more filtering, a lot more taking accountability for yourself as a gamer. And really, I feel like create a much better environment for those gamers who are playing fairly and who do just want to have competitive gameplay with integrity. On the flip side, this can lead into behavior management. It's like not saying that we don't want to hear a couple FUs and you sucks in chat, but going out of your way and being able to discern the kind of difference from friendly trash talk into severe bullying, and as well as like I would say like just unchecked aggression, simply put. I think that being tied to you as an individual as well, maybe not banning you from gaming because you're not hacking, you're not really causing too much, but maybe it allows a future game developer to be like, hey, like maybe have limited chat functionality in the future, and obviously they can appeal, they can do it better. But for the gaming side, it's like making sure that environment is a little bit better as well. On the flip side,
Hmm.
providing these
Hmm.
opportunities because there is this fair game plan in this standard. No one's
Right.
getting these cheats used against them. You have this more central source of truth. So when players start to rise and fall on leaderboards,
Hmm.
people will take
Hmm.
notice. Brands are going to be able to reach out to a player who's rising on the leaderboard
Hmm.
for a
Hmm.
tournament that they want to host, instead of having to
Yeah.
get in line and pay for one of maybe 50 streamers that have enough of a verified,
Hmm.
I would say, stream numbers, content numbers
Hmm.
to get the plug. Obviously, I'm not saying
That
the
makes a
whole
lot of
marketing
sense.
system is going to flip, and
Yeah.
like everything goes, but it will allow them to make decisions based off of what
Hmm.
they see. And then for game developers, it's just providing them tools that they can use to spend less money, to make sure that they're getting these game outs that people are able to enjoy. Like I love tinkering and
Hmm.
downloading indie games. Like I love seeing these creative ideas and getting those ideas from the conception stage to the playable stage. easier and with better engagement is something that I'm very into. So to summarize,
Right.
with POGR, I just want to connect the online world onto a platform and allow people to have a home for gamers. I don't feel like any
Makes
of the
sense.
social medias really do a justice for that. And I'm not saying we're a
Hmm.
social media right off the bat, but we're a platform that encourages gamers, encourages developers, and essentially puts them on pedestals. We're like,
Yeah.
you're our target demographic, and you're who
Hmm.
we want to share with this community, and this is what our community wants. So I think
Right.
it's about
Right.
time gamers have their own space in this online
Hmm.
world, and that's what we're building with POGR.
Yeah. And I wish you best of luck for that.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Connor, for joining. And I hope the audience got to know something about something good about Power, and the gaming industry is going to use the platform. And I hope your experience was good.
Yeah. Oh, I had a great time. I
Thank
really
you.
enjoyed
Thank
this.
you.
So
Thank you. And for the audience, keep watching so that we can keep bringing more tech stars to your screens. Thank you. Have a nice day.